No place like home. So as I record this, I seem to have perfected YouTube time travel. Episode 1 came out a couple of days back. I'm absolutely thrilled with how you got responded to it. It was 6 months of work just to get to this stage, and the fact that you got have responded the way you have and you've watched it, that's the main thing. I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. Not only that, it's been quite entertaining to launch a project like this just as, well, the World Cup reached new levels of banter, and coming from someone who doesn't really understand football, apparently it almost came home. Could say that. We've had a little bit of a heat wave of sorts. By the time you see this, it'll have been and gone. Yep, I literally just exported it and now the thunder hits. Ugh. So, how do you capitalise on that? What the hell do you do when it's sub 22 degrees? Well, you go to cinemas, of course. But all of this has got me thinking, why is the big screen still the king of all film watching experiences? Especially the cinema. I'm going to be looking at this from a variety of different angles. And because I'm comparing and contrasting a few different experiences, it means I can unblur that logo for the first time. Welcome to the cinema where I hone my craft. This is my beloved View Preston, a place where I've pretty much learned the ropes from the industry, from a customer to a critic. The guys in there have been fantastic. They've joked that this weekend is a big do for me, and to be honest, I agree with them. So seeing as I've been living in that cinema for the best part of July and most of the last 5 years as well, at that fact, it feels like the best place to discuss why, as a whole, the cinema is still the best place to experience film. And to do that in the way that only we can, well, I think you all know what time it is. There isn't anything wrong with a good group experience. You sat there waiting for the 20 minutes or so of adverts to finish. Very therapeutic experience, that. But you just sat there waiting for the lights to go down, and then when they do, you're in a whole new world. It's one of the many reasons why I've always been quite passionate about this industry, because it always has the ability to do things that other things can't. Games can take you to other worlds, but they're not as effective as film. As a critic, it's our job to tell you whether the films we see in screens like the ones I get to call my office every week, whether they're good, bad, or downright ugly. Ultimately, it's down to you lot as a customer to actually go out and see the films that we review, and the best case example of that I can think of is The Greatest Showman, surprisingly. Most of us gave it a mauling, but it spawned legs, word of mouth gave it traction, and ultimately it played in that place for 18 weeks solid, the maximum length you can run a film in cinemas. A mate of mine was telling me just a few weeks back about how successful this film had been. Not only because it opened pretty close to her birthday, you see, you get your shout out that easily, but she was also telling me that it achieved almost Titanic levels of success, and like I say, we don't get that level of box office returns that often. It's only the big Avengers, it's only the big superhero films that achieve that. For a musical, yes, a musical of all films to go ahead and gross that much, it's quite mind-blowing, really. And it also creates the point, it's quite the stinger for all of you conspiracists out there who think cinemas are dying out, who think that people aren't coming in and selling out screens anymore. I was there at the time I'm recording this little bit, because not all of this was filmed over birthday marathon weekend. If you're working at cinema, you know why. But as I record this, Mission Impossible Fallout has been selling out like wildfire. Mamma Mia's been selling out like wildfire. That's not just because this particular site's got reclining seats. It's been the case nationally. Mamma Mia just made £10 million at the UK box office, and it's looking set to do it again this weekend, and probably as you watch this, next weekend as well. So cinema isn't quite dead yet. There's a consistent amount of people coming in, there's a consistent amount of weekly customers as well. But where I kind of
see the threat is Netflix have got a hell of a slate coming up. Audiences just want pure escapism, and people are getting it. It's working, and I can't argue with that. Going back to the whole group experience thing, as I kind of alluded to earlier, I happen to have very good working partnerships with the team at the local cinema, from the guys on tills to the managers, all the way up to higher management. Hello folks, I know you're watching. But it all corresponds to the fact that over the last 18 months, those lot have given me some fantastic memories, whether it's watching Rampage with 3 of the till staff, whether it's watching War for the Planet of the Apes with pretty much the whole team and former general manager in time. What other memories have I had? God, it's difficult to think. Whether it's also that time I seen Sausage Party, well, we had said about that film on a PG blog, the better, and of course, having to sit through the Emoji Movie. Good God, no. All of these viewings with a group kind of impacts on the way I sing the films. If you with a comedy, for example, it doesn't work without laughs. It's the reason why myself and my absolute idol Mark Kermode use the 6 laugh test as a basis to determine whether a comedy is actually any good or not. I feel Pretty was the last one that didn't pass it, and you avoid that like the plague. But ultimately, the audience has made a lot of these films better. Well, all of those films except for I Feel Pretty and the Emoji Movie, they get an absolute label which is brand new for this series. When you get something so bad, it just absolutely stinks. I smell bullshit.
And believe me, this is one of the many reasons why I've not taken many comps, and sure, I know the team here. I always believe that paying audiences, well, a lot more honest about their opinions than people who see their films for free. And that kind of brings me on to the next point. Do cinemas actually have a future? Because Netflix is a thing, and this place got very lucky, and believe me, very, very lucky, with the addition of the recliner last year.
There is clearly a market there for cinemas, and I know the tickets aren't cheap. I mean, the wall behind me, that is not cheap. But there's still a market there, and what I've noticed is that they're consolidating the offer. Odeon are doing great things with their Lux sub-brand of cinema. And then you got Cineworld, who are doing things with their VIP side of cinemas. As far as I understand, there's only 2 or 3 of them here in the UK, and I know they want to do similar things with the Regal cinemas that they bought earlier in the year. That's another story for another time. I don't want to get into the politics of the business. But what I've also noticed is that with the majority of cinemas opening in city centres, there's clearly a market to make a night of it. I mean, with the Frankie and Benny's next door to View, they're getting a lot of business, and I can sort of see where we can go from here. But where my heart ultimately lies is the independent cinemas. Now, they are a completely different beast altogether. I've been to 2 or 3 of them. Some of my favourites include Pitch House at Fact, really nice site at Liverpool. Very art house programming. You've also got Home in Manchester, another brilliant site. I cannot recommend that enough. If you're really into film, you want to have a look at their programming there. It's fantastic. But what they've done is they've taken the best of both worlds, the best of what us multiplex have showing, and they're also adding the art house and the foreign stuff. And that's something I want to see more in the commercial side of things. Something like, for example, give me a minute. Something like Brigsby Bear, for example. I had to travel to Manchester to watch this. It was on Screen Unseen. I missed it. This was before I started going. Something like that. I had to travel to Manchester for. I also had to travel to Manchester to watch Ladybird. So there's pros and cons to everything in this industry, and that's something with this journal I want to document over the next months, years, weeks, however long I want to make these for, because we're only on episode 2. But I want to see where this industry goes. Plus, with friends in the industry making some incredible independent films. There's your shout out, Ed. I've learned firsthand that this industry as a whole is quite the creative powerhouse that it's meant to be. I mean, I'm a critic, I'm not making films, but I have learned that there's more to this than meets the eye, and again, I want to take you lot on the journey.
Places like home, places like Picturehouse, places like View, your Odeons, your Cineworlds, for us critics and for film fans like me and you, have become our home, our office, really, and I can totally understand the calls from people who don't understand our craft when you just hear everyone telling you,
then maybe you shouldn't be living here!
To that I say, it's our job at the end of the day. We're doing what we love.
So what I'm basically trying to get at here is go to the cinema with your mates. Whether you're into film, whether you're not into film, if you want to treat it as a night out, if you want to treat it as a date, take your mates to the cinema. Show them a good film. And I urge you to rediscover why, as my very good friend Mark Strong, yeah, but good friend, I hear him before every film I see, says,
sit back, relax, switch off your phone, and switch off from the outside world.
too right, Mark. Oh, that's going to be so bad.